What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, as we are back with another episode of Omni X-Men, talking about issue number 121 from our omnibus here that I have in front of me. I'm, of course, joined, as always, by my good friend John from John's Comics with Kids. What's up, John?
Hello. I forgot to change my background from all DC books. So, hey, I'm definitely not not in theme tonight.
Oh, this is awkward.
Yeah.
Well, we also have a good friend, and Alec, this is your first time on my channel, so welcome, Alec, White Whale Comics.
Thank you. I do feel a little left out because I don't have the omnibus, and I wasn't about to read my physical copies, so I read them digitally. So I'm not a cool kid who has the big fat omnibus.
It's all good. To be honest, I read most of mine digitally still too, even though I own the omnibus.
I mean, they look great on the shelf.
So,
they look great on the shelf, but like really, they are not convenient for reading.
Right.
Sorry, Jim Mint.
Upper body workout.
I'm glad that you said that you chose not to take out the actual issue here, because we have a good friend of ours that's usually hanging out in the chat who would have a heart attack if he saw you reading a book physically like this one. Yeah, so welcome to the channel, and anybody who's watching, if you guys are not following White Whale Comics, make sure you do. I have all your information in the description below. I also want to say I bought this t-shirt from you recently, man, and I really dig it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, looks sharp on you.
Yeah, man, I really like it. If anybody is interested, hit up
right
Alec
there.
for that.
9.4 is near mint. It's right there.
There you go.
Right. A perfect grade.
So let's say a quick hello to the chat, and then we'll get into this issue here. Let's see. First off, we have Brandon hanging out with us. Question: which X-Men character would you like to see more of in the Hickman era on Krakoa, and why? Oof. Brandon always hitting us with these heavy questions right off the bat. I don't know how I feel. I'm not caught up, so I can't say.
I'm always happy with more Mr. Sinister. I'll just tell you right now. I think Hickman's rendition of Sinister, I think, trumps anything that I've seen in earlier iterations. His Sinister is now my favorite Sinister.
I can dig that. Alec, what about you?
My answer is always the same for a question like this.
Oh, some Jubilee, nice.
Jubilee. always Jubilee.
And I won't answer because I'm not caught up. So I might say somebody who is.
Has nothing to do with being. It doesn't have anything to do with being caught up.
I'd like to see more Kitty Pryde.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Kitty Pryde is up there, and Storm is up there as always. You know,
Colossus hasn't been given a lot of time, and Nightcrawler is finally going to get his own series starting here in a couple weeks. So,
nice.
He's been pretty underutilized as well.
Magic Lasso in the house as well. Me, when I talk to the trainer at the gym, can you get me a butt-like Vindicator on X-Men 121? Oh, speaking of the gym, question: what is a banana's favorite gymnastic move? The splits.
It's like Andy follows us, Alec.
Can't escape it.
Thank you, Mr. Magic Lasso, for that. Let's see who else we have. And the chat just jumped on me. Man, no, gotta get used to that. What is he saying here? Alex stands so still so often that I often think he's frozen until I see him blink. But I love the dude. There you go.
Stares into your soul.
There's Chet. He's the one we were just referencing before about glad that you see that Alec, that you're reading some digital stuff once in a while and not opening a physical book. Good to see you, Chet. We got Beta Ray Jim in the house. What's going on, Beta? Jackson Roy Kirk, who's been catching up in the ranks of these giveaway numbers here. Good to see you as well. Let's see, scrolling. I see Thomas Jackman, who was hanging out with me earlier, was just live about an hour ago talking about some other comic related stuff. So good to see you, Thomas. Thanks for hanging out again here. My buddy George is here. What's going on, George? All right, I think we're caught up at the moment. Feel free, guys, to chime in at any time. Make sure you guys are subbed up to these fellas here. And before we jump into it, I always like to say, in case people are catching the replay or whatever, or if you're here now, make sure you stick around because we are going to do these questions as we always do. And you could win either a mystery box from John, X-Men mystery box, or an Omnibus number 2, which, by the way, the other day I just got messaged from Beta Ray Jim. I don't know if you guys know. Do you know how much this is going for right now?
Uh-oh. I don't think I want to know.
This is a little over $300 right now.
Jesus.
Paid $100 for it. So.
Like everything else in the comic world right now, I'm sure I was going to say too much.
Yep. Yep.
Yikes.
So there's something else, a little extra to look forward to for anybody who is really trying to win that thing. All right. So with that being said, all right. So we're talking about issue 121 here. Obviously, some key stuff going on. After coming off of 120 and talking about Alpha Flight. So, John, I'll start with you. What were your initial thoughts, and what would you grade this book?
I would say I find both of these issues to be a little hilarious and ridiculous, and laughable in certain sequences that I just, I can't wait to discuss in detail. It wasn't a huge improvement over the last issue. I still think there's a lot of jumps in logic going on here, But there are also just some hilarious moments that, are very enjoyable. I feel like the art in these 2 issues is a little bit lower in quality than what we've been used to before. So overall, I'm going to say this is in that 7.5 range for me, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, all right. I think that's fair. Alec, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, they are, I don't want to say absurd because they're not like that crazy, but one of the first videos I ever did on my channel was about the whole Alpha Flight X-Men introduction. And because it is just kind of buck wild the way they do things. This issue in particular, there's a lot of like recapping what we just read in 120. And yet in 120, they have like the asterisk, like see issue 109, which is the first appearance of Vindicator. But don't like really expound on what happened. And, back when these came out, I can't imagine it was easy to track down an almost 1-year-old comic versus last month's. So I've always found that weird that they spent like 3 or so pages telling you what you just read in last month's book. Almost like they didn't have enough story to fill the whole issue. But besides that, like it's a fun romp. Like it is just like it's crazy. But yeah, it's certainly not the best X-Men issue. So I'm around where John is. Maybe like I'd go to an 8 just for my own nostalgic purposes.
Okay. Yeah, I think those are both fair. And I think for the last issue, I gave an 8. And Chris made me feel like I gave an extra high grade to that. I got
issues on last time.
Yeah. I think that I stand around an 8 even for this one. I do like that there's a lot more action involved in this one as they're compared to the last one. So I mean that in itself maybe could bump this to an 8.5 for me. But I think you guys are on point with what you're saying here. Some wackiness for sure. But you kind of got to take it with the time and when this came out. So
Magical Lasso says something that I would like to address later when we talk about the ending.
Okay. All right.
But wanted to let you know I see you.
So let me bring up the little PowerPoint here, and we'll dive into this. So I mean the cover right off the bat. If you guys missed this, I used this cover as my Storm cover when I was on Comic Gories, and somehow, some way, I lost to some old book. So that wasn't cool. But anyways, what do you think of this beautiful book cover here, John?
It's a way better cover than 120. I think the motion of it all, the characters you get to see what's going on. You got Storm flying in the background, Cyclops blasting Vindicator. So I like this cover a lot more than 120. And you don't have the weird random like shadows in the foreground like the last one. Mm-hmm. So in that way, it's a big step forward for me.
Yeah, a bit more brighter.
109 is head and shoulders above either one of these, though.
Absolutely, which is why they used it for that Alpha Flight issue later on, right?
Yeah.
Yep, very true. Oh yeah, that's right. They did like the homage to it, or
Yeah,
or I guess
It's like almost exactly the same
yeah,
cover. It's
it is.
hilarious.
It's not an homage. It's just like they decided to redraw the same cover. There's nothing different about it.
Very
Oh,
little.
okay.
Yeah, I keep them side by side in my X-Men box. Those two issues.
Yeah, Vindicator, but you do get a booty shot there for sure.
It's Canada.
Yeah,
It's Canada's ass. Let's check.
what are they called? Dump trucks in Canada.
oh god.
I don't know.
Probably dump trucks.
They call them Vindicators.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to find this, or in a cleaner copy, just because of that the white snow and everything, the storm going on there. But I do like that this really stands out. If you look at it from across the room or anything like that, it's pretty recognizable.
It's funny though, because I feel like for a long time, for having, there are two, I would say, like key X-Men books in this stretch, they were like really affordable for a very long time until recently. And then suddenly people were like, oh yeah, that's the first Alpha Flight. Like we should probably buy those. And now it's, gone up to where I think it's probably deserving. But I luckily got them. Well, Backseat Driver gifted me this one, but I bought 120 like at a pretty reasonable price before it started going up. But it was weird that just people were overlooking them for a really long time.
Totally.
For sure. And these are, as you're saying, I mean, just some key books here, key characters. And luckily I was able to snag one as well before, the ridiculousness that has gone on. So let's jump into the first page here. The X-Men breaking and entering. They are, last we were left off, and if anybody missed this, we were left off with some of the X-Men being taken by Alpha Flight, two of the team members being missing, Wolverine and Nightcrawler. So these three are here as they were just in the mall shopping, essentially.
and destroying somebody's store with no remorse.
That poor woman.
It's not like it was the X-Men either. I mean, it was definitely Vindicator decided to just trash that whole mall. It's blast through the ceiling, and it could have been
resolved if he just went through another way for sure. We got Morbius in the house. What's up, Morbius? Just did the show with him. Good to see you. So now they are determined to, and this is part of the silliness, is that this entire time they were running in the last issue, running away, trying to escape Alpha Flight, and yet at the end of the issue we get Cyclops like saying, okay, now we got to fight them. Now we have to turn around and do this. And we kind of question, why didn't they, have this mentality going into the day to begin with? So
this is from page one, like one of the wildest things about this issue. Only I think eclipsed by the wildest part of this two-part issue to me is that, so who is the main villain of this two-issue arc? It is the Prime Minister of Canada.
It's the Canadian government.
Classic villain to the United States, Canada. But because they are working, the Alpha Flight is working for the Prime Minister, why are they holding their prisoners in this private rodeo thing? Like, why don't they just take them to some Canadian bunker? So already it's wild. It's wild that it's here. Yeah, and then it's even more wild that Cyclops is just like, screw you guys, we're breaking the doors down.
What's up, Andy?
Andy.
Yeah, I think there's this 2-issue visit to Canada is a little buck wild in the decision making. I mean, last week it was like, hey, we just got in a fight at an airport. Let's go to the mall and shop. That was the leadership decisions of Cyclops last week.
But they do keep referencing the fact that, we've been through a lot getting back from the Savage Lands recently. So,
even though
we're at our wits' end over here.
We took a detour on a freighter to Japan, and we fought a James Bond villain in a volcano lair, and we went through a lot. And Christmas, we had Christmas.
Yeah, they need to get some shopping in once in a while for that long break.
Right.
Retail therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Amazon wasn't around then, so
and then And then his rationale for why Storm can't just fly them over is because, she would be too much of a sitting duck.
Right. We would be in danger.
Even though she's flying over anyway.
Yeah.
It's an interesting strategy.
He is not showing his best leadership in these two issues.
Yeah, no.
Which, humorously, Storm, I feel like, is much more of a leader in this story than Cyclops is.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Obviously she becomes one of the default leaders of the X-Men, but I wonder if that was an intentional choice to push her towards that direction, or if that just kind of was
naturally just was happening.
Yeah, we mentioned that in some previous episodes too, where we saw glimpses of Storm and her leadership and thinking like, man, like she should just run the team, and I wonder if, when there was that thought for Claremont and Byrne to say like, hey, this is the direction we purposely do want to go in with her. I wonder when that crossed their mind. We got TJ in the house. What's up, TJ? Can't trust Canadian. Just look at their bacon. There you go.
They got a lot of great comedians, though.
Don't they?
So let's see. We will. So we dive into this, and I love this scene because this works every time. It's a classic move. You just sprinkle some magic dust, and as we see Shaman doing this after they go through the entrance, as they break in, they start to, Cyclops doing his leadership there. Storm asking which way to go. So Cyclops and Colossus here are going to take the ground while Storm is in the air, as we were just discussing, as that's not, against kind of what he was just saying.
Jackson Roy Kirk says, Storm can't fly us in. So Storm, fly on ahead and find our guys.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they put magic dust in quotes, they're talking about Coke, right?
Right. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. There's no wall there. It's just, cocaine.
You're going to, just drop to your knees and...
What's up, Johnny Funko?
Johnny Funko in the house. What's going on? So start to see some... this is on the right here. This bubble here is where Cyclops is starting to kind of reminisce about what happened last issue. So thank goodness for that.
Hey, wait, how did we get here to breaking this place up? We were just breaking up a mall. Now we're breaking this place up. Like, how did we get here?
But to them, it was literally yesterday.
Right.
Yep.
If not that morning. Like, it's kind of unclear.
Yeah. And we get the plane that was destroyed there. As we, we know Claremont.
That I'm still baffled they were in it, and it got thrown across the tarmac and crashed into a giant building, and everybody walked away perfectly fine.
Yep.
They weren't in the plane. They in between the time Sasquatch grabs the plane and then throws it, they somehow all get out of the plane. They say something about that. They don't say, hey, Nightcrawler bamfed us all out of the plane, or whatever. They just like, oh yeah, we're lucky that we got out before that happened.
I will add that wasn't it an accident?
He says we all got out and no one spotted us. I assumed they meant out of the airport.
Crash? The plane bursts into 12 pieces.
I agree. It was buck wild from the jump. I was not questioning the insanity of it in any way.
Either way, it makes no sense.
Right. Yeah, we're finally to the first full appearance, Morbius. This is last issue was just that was all cameos. Even though you saw a ton of faces and saw them fighting and you heard their names, doesn't matter.
Names defined, everything.
This is a full appearance now.
Yep. So let's see. So we get our little flashback reminiscent, which we don't really have to go too into detail, but basically
broken airport, broken mall. Keep going.
Storm found some deals, and exactly. And there's a jump. So this is kind of the plan that they have.
Caught in that line. Any dodgeball references are good for me.
Totally. So Colossus here ripping out the fence, and Storm doing her thing as planned, where she's scoping it out, and she sees the team from afar in the middle of this arena, and Cyclops is just like, hey, look, it's probably a trap, but we're gonna do it. We're just gonna run into this trap.
Another great leadership moment.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the last time there was a scenario like this was when we were in the Savage Lands, or one of the last times we were in the Savage Lands, and it was Nightcrawler, Wolverine, and Storm. I think that was the three that were, and I just feel like that their strategy worked so well and made a lot more sense.
So what's the difference maker here?
And so but this time Cyclops is just like, we're all in, gentlemen. We're just gonna.
I'm always defending him, but I just can't right now. I'm sorry. He's clearly dealing with the trauma of the death of Jean. That's why he was making hands at that waitress or that private investigator chick that he's like snuggling with on the plane.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Jean isn't even cold yet. He's already making moves.
Cyclops is to the X-Men as Silver Age books are to comics.
So you mean excellent?
Yeah, exactly. For anyone who knows anything that I do on YouTube knows that I'm a huge defender of Silver Age comics.
Story writing.
Oh man! All right, so from here we get to use this cool GIF again because I just thought I would throw it in there. Thanks to John.
But here's that full appearance. Look at them all in costume.
Yeah. I've got major questions about this scene.
Love it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
If I'm understanding correctly, they are in the middle of a hockey rink.
It would seem, yeah.
Yeah.
So either Alpha Flight was ahead of all of them the whole time and they didn't see them, or Alpha Flight snuck up behind them on a skating rink
and they didn't see them.
And they didn't notice.
Yeah.
Like either way, it's just the
Jackson Roy Kirk.
Yeah, so where the heck did they come from? That's a great question.
Yeah, they don't have their means of bamfing in there in any way.
It was a little bit of that white powder. They used the white powder again.
So as they predicted, it is essentially a trap, and there's some smack talking going on, and Vindicator kind of tries to make a deal and just explains how he just wants Wolverine. The rest of you guys can go, but their team.
I think the only thing that's a saving grace for Cyclops in these two issues is that no matter how bad a leader he's not as bad as Vindicator. Yeah. Vindicator's plan every time seems to be, let's talk to these guys calmly. Throw their airplane into that hangar.
Yeah.
Let's talk to them calmly. Let's smash this mall.
So I have another logical question about this scene.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Why, their whole mission is to get Wolverine. They've got Wolverine. Why are they trying to lure the rest of the X-Men into this trap with the guy that they want to get?
Right.
At the very least, let's say you're like, okay, these guys mean business. There are going to be problems if we want to hang on to Wolverine. We need to lure them into a trap to get them. Just use Nightcrawler. Put Wolverine on the train and get him to the bunker.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Bad decisions all around.
Yeah, it's a leadership 2-issue failure.
Yeah, just
on all sides. This okay.
Sorry,
I can't read yours because my vision's not that good. But this is my favorite part of this whole story. The conversation. So obviously we can talk outside. We've got Banshee trying to get in. He's found the Colombian white powdered wall. He can't get through it. But yeah, Cyclops has stopped down inside, and he says, "Last time you almost killed Moira McTaggart, not to mention us and our flight crew a few hours ago when Sasquatch scragged our plane." And then the delivery, I got to get the delivery right. Vindicator says, "Those were accidents." I don't know how he delivered that. I don't know how he delivers that sentence.
Because there's no exclamation point, so it's not. No. Those were accidents.
No, those were accidents. It's like a rational thing, right?
Scott, yeah. Those were accidents.
Those were accidents. Understand? We accidentally threw your plane into that. We were trying to park it, and we didn't.
To be fair, Moira McTaggart could be argued that was an accident.
I mean, I don't know.
Throwing the plane Nah, dude.
You seem to have a lot of them. Is Cyclops' reply. Fair. And then he says, that changes nothing. Our orders are to get Wolverine. Okay, well, then to Alec's point, you had him. Why are we still here? Why are we still haggling? You've got one of the fastest characters in the Marvel universe right there. And you had an unconscious Wolverine. You could have run him to the Prime Minister by now.
Yeah.
Right? Am I misunderstanding North Star's abilities?
No, he's quick. He's real quick.
So, just pick up. Well, he's tiny. We know he's a midget. Everybody said it, right? So pick him up and run. I don't get that part. And then we've got Cyclops. What is North Star doing? What is North Star? He's like watching him from around the corner. And then we get into Cyclops saying, whether he wants to go or not, this stinks, mister. Is that the best insult Cyclops has? That stinks, mister. Okay, there you go. And Vindicator with the burn. Considering the odds, Cyclops, perhaps you'd better get used to the smell. It's like
they're on MTV's Wild 'N Out. Like they're having a rap battle.
Yeah. It's like an episode of Real World where two white guys are having a rap battle.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this? What is this? There's so many layers of fraud happening here and fail. Like I just can't. These two guys, this is their like bravado argument. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I love the trash talk there at the end too, because thinking back to all the times that Vindicator has been really nice and like checking out, when Banshee went down from his throat and he's like, oh God, like, he's checking on this guy. And so there's these little, hints of these trash talk
white
moments.
rapper hate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
For me, the whole thing, the banter, I laughed so loud I had to stop reading and then start again and read it again. Like I thought it was just too much. It was too much for me.
Yeah.
Those two straight-laced nerd guys are trying to act all tough to each other, and they don't know how. I'm just dying.
And then meanwhile, we have at the main gate, we have Colleen Wing and Misty Knight hanging out with Banshee trying to get in.
Oh, I totally forgot Misty's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't give her enough to do in this.
No, I know. So, they're coming out of the taxi here and, runs into this magic dust that was set up from earlier. So Banshee's down again. Feel like he's always down recently.
Yep, definitely.
And then we jump into I feel like that's right. It jumps
as
into
Chet says, now let's get into the fracas. The fracas.
Yeah. So it's Colossus who kind of spots one of them walking around the side or making a move that he thinks is they're doing something sketchy. So he comes down with a giant thoom. Beware Cyclops. What the? And you just see the ground shake. And then Sasquatch gets a punch right to the gut punches Colossus right in the gut.
Gives him that. I mean, comes out of the shaking of the earth pretty quickly and just lays into him.
Yeah. And then,
but I mean, if you can throw an airplane, I'm sure a little like rickety ground is not really going to throw you off.
This is true, and that was by accident that he kind of.
Yeah, I didn't know my own strength.
Yeah. And so we have a lot of different things going on. Wolverine was faking the them pretending to be kind of knocked out this whole time. So him and Nightcrawler kind of jump up off their feet quickly, and you get a little some purple BAMF smoke there. Yep. And then we run into some other cool scenes with the shaman and Alec. To your point, I know you pointed this out. You want to talk a little bit about these couple panels here?
Yeah, right before that, I do want to mention the fact that Wolverine and Nightcrawler have been faking being hurt this whole time, and that they were fully able to get up and fight at any point.
Right.
Yep.
For no real good apparent reason, because Nightcrawler could just get away, right? He could just be like, airport.
Yeah, and can't he can't he bring people with him?
They've shown recently that he can. It just is incredibly draining, and the distance is not very far.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe this is worth the drain.
Right.
Like these are the moments where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be tired for a couple days, but Wolverine, let's get out of here.
Right. And again, he's tiny, so it's not like he's having to carry around Colossus that way, right?
Right. But he's dense. He's solid.
Yes.
I think in Nightcrawler's mind, he's just like, I just don't want to be tired right now. I don't want to deal with the tiredness, so I'm gonna pretend. I'm just gonna go with this plan here.
He's dealing with a sense of ennui.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't. Pardon me. I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite panel in the issue, but I find it the most interesting, and it's because he is talking about this while he's creating this idol. He's thinking to himself about how he went to like Western medicine school against the wishes of his father, who wanted him to do like traditional, like cultural medicine of his people. And he's talking about how like, oh, you know, if he only knew that I could like use both of them now as a superhero and kind of combine these two worlds into my, which doesn't have anything to do with this totem as far as I know, but
no,
like that idea is a comic book. Like how, like even a mini series, how interesting would it be to like tackle this kind of traditional versus modern Western medicine idea in a superhero? And like, I feel like it's such a, like, you know, thing that they just pass by to have him thinking something in this panel and not really considered beyond that. And I just thought it would be like something very interesting to explore. I mean, they might have in some issue of Alpha Flight, I don't know, but
I was just going to ask if it's might be possible that they have. I'm not as familiar with them myself, but
well,
yeah, no, I think
Alec is here because he knows all about the Alpha Flight.
I've not read every issue of Alpha Flight, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you got a great point there, and I'm curious. I mean, I imagine, that they were not at all in any way thinking of any details other than just like, a little filler, quick background.
Yeah.
Do the totems do anything useful? Because he sets them loose, and then they just kind of get. It's kind of like throwing out some robots so that Wolverine can chop up some things.
Like distractions.
Because Wolverine can't kill an actual person, and that would be traumatic to the reader. But he can chop up a bunch of totems that aren't important. So let him do that. Let Cyclops blast a few of those.
Yeah,
I just thought it was such a stark difference in this book, filled with logical fallacies and plot holes, to have like this really interesting thought in the middle of it that they don't expand upon.
Yeah, that's true. They don't even go back to this in any way. Yeah, and then of course it's quickly broken up with Cyclops, shooting them all out of the sky, or at least one of them there.
Yeah. And then he gets the shock of his life.
Oh yeah, the quick punch to the back of the head.
Yeah, sucker punch.
Is that's North Star, right? I'm still getting used to like all.
I believe.
Which also is funny because that is exactly what Colossus was noticing that he thought he was going to do, and so him doing his big Thum jump literally did not stop. I mean, maybe it delayed him a couple seconds from doing what he had planned to do anyway, but
right.
No.
I think overall Shaman should have just sprinkled some more of that dust just around everybody, and I think that they would have just been able to hold them all down like that, whatever special dust. But so then we get into some more other action scenes on the side here. Nightcrawler doing some cool moves and stuff, jumping around. Oh man, what's her name? I forget her name.
Aurora.
Okay, so Aurora is.
Am I right? I think I'm right.
At the top.
No,
yeah,
Aurora's down at the bottom.
Oh, Snowbird.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, right. So Snowbird's at the top.
Yeah.
We get a really cool owl that Aurora turns into. I actually didn't. I wasn't familiar with some of the powers that she was capable of doing.
She's a shapeshifter.
Yeah,
that's what Storm says.
I'm gonna attack her like an owl. That's how you get Storm. She's not ready for an owl.
I thought that was very funny too, where she's like, Yeah, you're not doing so well against me. How about a snow owl?
Yeah, it was an interesting
nature's
strategy.
most menacing creature.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. The Jackson's right.
Against an Omega level mutant. Yeah. Okay, so I'm right. Aurora is up at the top in black, and Snowbird is in white at the bottom. Okay.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Morph for always. Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
What else was teamwork makes the dream work. So they're kind of given, they're kind of Alpha Flight's kind of trying to prove that, or at least they're showing them with their skills that they're kind of working together. And Wolverine here is thinking about it, how they're kind of a mess and really getting their butts kicked during this entire thing. And I guess we get to see some magic dust here with Shaman with what he's doing next. It's a little bit of a different dust, but
it's like almost like pocket sand.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where he starts up this storm, right? I mean, this is where as we're leading into like the bigger stuff.
I think this is where he loses control of the storm, because isn't the storm? Is it the same storm that he used to get them there?
Oh,
it's really vague, and that is one of the things that frustrates me most about this two-part issue. Is it seems like there was an Alpha Flight storm that they were creating to force the plane to land in the last issue.
They absolutely did that, because Storm can't control the storm because there's something else controlling.
But in this issue, it seems way beyond their control. Like they've lost control of it, and they don't know what's going on. And the storm has to be the one. So I feel like there's not enough. He overdid the storm. There you go. Is that like when the hairstylist just teases her hair too much, and it's just like, oh man,
it's not good.
Got to really overdone that.
Yeah, so I thought that that initial storm from the last one had been kind of stopped or broken up, only because of kind of some of the things that we see in the beginning here, like when they're first breaking into this place. There's no snow, no nothing. When Storm is flying up over to see the trap or whatever, we don't see any of that stuff. But I mean, yeah, it certainly could be going on still, or at least in certain areas. So, okay, and then this is what I was thinking of. So we get a little cameo here, some baby Burn. I don't know. I guess that's supposed to be his wife. I was looking into some of the details of what they were talking about, and or some other specialties of this issue, and someone had brought up that Byrne makes a little scene here. Not sure if he's ever been in a comic before that or not, but
I don't either. Yeah, I don't know.
So that's why this book's so much money, guys.
You're right. First appearance of
John Byrne in comics.
Yeah.
So
obviously they're trying to give us some context for what this storm means for the rest of Canada. But it did feel a little out of place to me, because we don't fully understand who's creating the storm or controlling the storm at this particular moment. So it's hard to
and
be
also
passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha Flight nor the X-Men have any idea what's happening. So the severity and the importance of this does not affect them at all.
Not at all.
Right. Who's
he's talking about my hair comment about the Storm's hair.
But I mean, clearly this is proof that Iron Man was right in Civil War. That he's the one who wanted the registry, right?
The registry.
Yeah.
So clearly Shaman should stick to medicine, because he's got no control over almost wiping out an entire Canadian city by accident.
Yeah. Those were mistakes.
Yeah. A running theme in this issue.
Yeah. Yeah, Vindicator just comes along and says, listen, those were mistakes.
And he doesn't seem to be doing anything to fix it either. He's just like, I'm going to make some totems now. I'm going to move on to making a giant invisible dome and totems.
Yep.
So an igloo, in a sense. I guess you could think of it like that.
And then we have some more action shots. I put a little shots fired here for Brandon Steelers because
yeah, they did take a shot at the Steelers.
So weird
Totally random football comment.
That's what made this an 8.5 for me.
Like what team could be further away from them geographically? Like maybe the Miami Dolphins. Like why the Steelers?
Yeah, it is definitely. I don't know, Brandon, if you're still in this chat here or not, but that's for you, buddy.
And this probably came out like when the Steelers were pretty good, right? This was around the time where they had all their
rings
Super
and
Bowls?
stuff. Yeah, it could be. Maybe they're relevant at the time. I don't know, unless one of them are from Pittsburgh, maybe one of Claremont or Byrne that we don't know about. But yeah, so I personally hate the Steelers, so it really works out for me.
You're like, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
We need more of these references.
I'm hoping that there's more references in future books of this. Yeah, so essentially this whole battle is still kind of as I joked here, because Wolverine is just too damn expensive, and so that's why it's important for the Canadians to make sure that they get him back to their side of things. Some really cool panels here, some fun battle scenes that I wanted to highlight. Just even just Sasquatch and Colossus going at it, I think can be an epic battle. Seeing some of those. Meanwhile,
I love how Sasquatch is just doing the like hand on his head, so you can't punch me because my arms are longer. Move to him in that bottom panel.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's just swinging.
The big brother to little brother movie. Yeah.
And I also like how, again, it's so important because Wolverine was such an expensive experiment, but the idea of destroying one of Canada's biggest cities to get him back is worth it.
Right. Yeah. You
don't know what the price tag is. That might totally be worth it. That whole province. I mean, it's Canada. That whole province might be worth it. They have provinces up there, right? That's what they have.
Absolutely.
Chet. Yep, with the football references. He says Steelers were great when this book was out. So there you go. So ultimately these are just some of my favorite panels. I think just some of the action shots, and I just love how the storm going on in the background throughout all this just gives that cool background.
Yeah, I want to say this is when we also get another great speech from Vindicator that I'm baffled by. He says, "I don't want the X-Men scragged on my account, Hudson." And he's like, "Vindicator to you, Mister. Quit being stubborn, Wolverine. Yeah. Just say the word, and this battle's over." He's just like he wants to have a calm battle while he's like blasting him and blowing up all his friends. He's like, "Oh, don't be so." He's like talking to a little kid. Don't be so stubborn.
I also like the line "Vindicator to you" is so weird for a few reasons. First, being that just in its syntax is strange because is he saying like obviously he's saying "call me Vindicator."
Or it's Vindicator to you,
right? But he doesn't. He leaves out the "it's," so it's almost like Vindicator to you, buddy.
Yeah.
But also, like, he and Wolverine know each other very well.
Right.
So why is it Vindicator to you, buddy? Like, he knows, like, they have a past and a relationship as themselves.
He calls him Jimmy pretty much constantly in all three issues.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth with how Vindicator kind of comes off. And it's hilarious how you guys are pointing this out. There it is. Roy Kirk has made it official there.
Wolverine is more important than Calgary.
Yeah.
I mean, 181.98 is probably more expensive than the whole Weapon S project at this point.
Yep.
That's a fair point. But is it rare or is it scarce?
So we get some. These are some cool panels here. Some fun that Nightcrawler was having, although it did seem a little random with everything going on.
Also, that's Assault Brother.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Yep. That's a great point.
Sneak attack kiss that scares her off, and then she just leaves.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because like all this serious battle going on, and he's kind of doing this out of nowhere too.
Or listen to her thoughts. He's been a scrapper from the day he was born. Me, at heart, I'm a lover.
Hey.
Is that really what you're thinking about right now? You're in the middle of a fight, lady. Focus.
Well, they're trying to establish these characters that are going to be used throughout Uncanny X-Men in the coming months, right?
Which is truly, I think, the important thing here, right?
Yeah,
Bringing them into the X-Men universe.
Right. Because this story is going to be much like the Phoenix Saga, long and in-depth. For those of you who don't know, that is not the case.
That's not the case. It's a long while before we get back to these guys.
Chet saying the second panel where he's above her is great.
Up on the wall, yeah. When he's like bamfing in the second panel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then on the right here is where we really get the hint that the storm is just completely out of control. And Vindicator's like looking back to his team.
Oh, man. This conversation between him and Wolverine, also great. Wolverine's like, just like old times, Jimmy. You never give me a choice about being changed or about joining your tin pot Yukon Avengers. Why should you start now? And then he's like, Logan, it's not that simple. Like, it's just such a whiny response.
He's so Canadian.
Logan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, eh?
Nuh-uh. Come on, man. Please play on our team. Heather and I gave you a home, a chance to be human instead of the feral wild child you've been. If you're anything today, it's because of me. What I am is free, Vindicator, and I'm going to stay free or die. And then the storm gets crazy, and he's like, holy. And then Vindicator's saying, hey, Shaman, what's happening? It's like the first time he's asked him at all about the storm.
Oblivious, yeah.
And then Shaman says, I do not know. Not even with an exclamation mark of fear, just like I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Chet says that your the Vindicator wine is award worthy.
Logan.
Imitating third graders, I know.
Kurt wanted the Spider-Man MJ kiss. There you go. Yeah, that's a good.
What's up, Azores? Eric, how's it going, man?
Eric, just getting off work. Good to see you, brother. Yeah. So this is where things really get out of control with this storm, and now there's a bigger mess.
I'm sorry, this episode's going so slowly. I'm like literally reading everything Vindicator says because I just can't get enough of it. Sorry.
And then this is wrong. This is
hey,
God, Vindicator. How did they know?
Spectacular.
So we're moving along here. We got Uncanny Swag in the house. What's up, Uncanny Swag? So here's the storm. This is a storm piece that I meant to put in here. So this is just some really cool, more cool panels that we kind of talked about with this battle here that's going on.
Yep.
I forget, John, was this one of the panels that you were saying were your favorite?
I love this whole sequence. I mean,
right.
It's Storm being a boss, of course. Well, it's also her being like, okay, so you turned into an owl. All right, well, I'll stuff you in my cape then.
Birds famously weigh nothing because they are birds.
Right.
So she never could have done this if she had stayed a human.
Right.
Yep.
I just think it's hilarious. Like,
hoist on your own petard there, Snowbird.
So hilarious solution to that problem. And then Storm having to sort of dig deep to try to fix this actual storm.
Yeah, and that's where we get into this other. That's right. This was the other really cool panel here as Storm does another one of her, like,
look at the pose. Yeah, right.
Pose. We had a good one from the last issue too. So it's another good one there.
She even gets sucker punched by North Star better than Cyclops.
Yeah, but like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Type of thing where it's like he already pulled this maneuver once. You think shouldn't get away with it a second time in such short succession.
Which I think Cyclops is able to take care of. Blam! Just blast him.
Somehow knocks him back instead of going through his skull.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great pose, though, that she makes here.
Oh, both of them. There's so many great poses.
Yep.
Love it.
So North Star gets completely bashed in the face by a beam.
It looks like it's that was a zap. Sound effect.
That's great. Would you guys agree Storm being the MVP here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
If it weren't for Storm, they would all be dead, despite all of who won this battle, because the Storm would have just killed everyone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because Shaman would still be going, I don't know how to fix this problem.
I don't know. Maybe I'll take its blood pressure or
Right.
mix up some herbs, because I know tribal and Western medicine, but don't know how to use my powers in the least.
So I just added that these two switch bodies because this is kind of the opposite of what we would see in Cyclops versus Wolverine, where Cyclops is ready to tear this guy apart after taking Storm out, and it's Wolverine here who's catching his fist,
Right.
And canceling his whole anger that's going on right now.
Cancel Scott Summers.
Yeah.
I also love how like Cyclops takes another dig at Canada in this first panel. Like,
Is it which one is this? This
The red one?
I forget the word he uses, but it's misbegotten.
Yeah, your misbegotten country. Yeah.
Oh,
It's Canada. Not the like Democratic Republic of Congo. No offense to anyone from the DRC.
Yeah. Your misbegotten country.
Some problems there. Or North Korea, it's Canada. I think like we've always been cool with Canada pretty much for a long time, right?
Until South Park.
yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
It changed our view on that.
So yeah, this is where Wolverine basically comes to the idea of just going along with them, and when he could have done this whole time, but he decides to give himself up here.
Yeah, dude.
After everything.
He's all smile like you were the one arguing with the guy trying to take you in this whole time instead of just saying, okay, like let me not put my friends in danger from the get-go and just give myself up.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. Needed to have some scrap in there first.
It's a classic Marvel trope, right? That idea of like, I got to fight the good guys and then realize later, we can get along. I just needed to see if you were tough enough.
We get a quick flashback to Banshee still doing mime tricks with the invisible wall.
Poor Banshee gets, after basically saving the team 2 issues ago, he is basically a prop comedy bit at this point.
For sure, yeah. He's dealing with the
sore throat. Yeah, sore throat and magic invisible walls and all kinds of things.
Don't forget, he was trying to help Storm find a nice outfit. He was
yes, assisting fashion. Yep.
So we see Wolverine here getting into this truck at the bottom as he's agreed now to, go along with their,
We're about to get to my most Buck Wild moment for me in this whole thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody's.
So he's in here, and we get to these last couple panels here. John, I'll let you talk a little bit to some of this.
So they all agree to this. They're all like, okay, fine. You'll take Wolverine. And then apparently they're all flying back together. Like they put our guys on another plane and they're like flying along. And then Cyclops is like, this is a bad idea. Why are we doing it? Like he's a classic Cyclops leader in these 2 issues. He's completely changing his mind about this whole thing. He goes up to the cockpit. He's like, okay, here's the new plan. Fly towards Colorado, but then take a hard left when you get there. We're gonna go back up. We're gonna do a mid-air rescue operation. And apparently, there's Logan sitting in the passenger seat, making friendly with the waitress or the pilot. Sorry.
And the pilot doesn't say anything.
She's just flabbergasted that a Canadian appeared
like,
next to her.
Wolverine's probably like, hey, when Cyclops comes in, just be cool. Like I want to blow his mind.
Yeah. He's gonna love this.
and never do they, as far as I remember, ever explain how he got out of that freaking truck without anybody noticing and onto this plane without anybody noticing. And still to this point, while they're flying home, the Alpha Flight team hasn't figured it out yet.
Furthermore, as far as I know, they never try to pursue him again.
Yeah.
Because in Alpha Flight, they're just like chill.
Yeah. Well, they got a better midget.
Puck.
What the puck?
I mean, yeah.
Let's just really think about the abilities he's got to get out of that armored car that they say is like Wolverine proof. He's going to cut a hole in it, right? Like, let's just be honest. That's what he's going to do. And nobody's noticing a Wolverine-sized hole in this car anywhere. And he got onto our plane and nobody noticed it.
It's not our plane. It is a Canadian plane.
It is.
With I assume a Canadian pilot, because I don't guess that they would allow them to take a Canadian plane with their flight crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, he calls her Annie, but I don't know that we've met Annie before, so it's the first appearance of Annie Spec.
Wow, I forgot to add that, darn it.
Yep. But yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Chet was saying here they become okay in 139 and 140. So, to your point, Alec, nothing happens of this otherwise. So once Vindicator and the team figure this out, they just don't do anything. They just
there's we've played all of our cards. We have nothing left. I guess we have to just let them go at this point. If you love something, set it free.
They're putting all this money into the mall that they had to repair. So
so Annie was one of the two pilots I said looked like from Pussy Galore's Flying Circus.
Okay. So in that case, then why do they have to fly all the way to Colorado to take a left? Because the Canadian jets that are following them couldn't go over the border.
No.
So they can take a left at Montana.
Yep.
If my geography is correct.
That makes sense to me.
No, they would take a right.
Well, it's StreamYard. Everything's backwards.
Yeah.
There you go.
The YouTube comedy thing for those of you who have a YouTube channel.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, the team is finally going home as they state, and everything is back to normal. And,
unless you lived in that portion of Canada, in which case your home got destroyed by the blizzard. And,
if you're John Byrne right now, you're not in good shape.
That restaurant had serious damage.
Yeah, a lot of glass.
Yeah, and it's funny because if this book came out today, obviously I would hate it. But like the writing is amusing enough that it carries you through, and like it's so consistently insane,
right?
That you just kind of forgive it, right? If there was only 1 or 2 points of these huge logic holes, you'd say like, okay, well that ruins the story.
Right.
But when every single panel does not make sense, you're like, okay, this is the world we're living in for this. For some reason, Canada in the X-Men universe, just logic ceases to exist, and we have to accept that.
Yeah.
To go along with the ride. So
consistent inconsistencies. So after that, John, I think you had mentioned something about
the pilots from Pussy Galore's Flying Circus. Very different than Monty Python and the Flying Circus.
One of them is a lot more attractive than the other. I'll let you be the judge.
John Cleese.
Michael Palin, baby.
All day.
So here's some of the facts. We'll jump into some of the key elements here. It is their full quotations, first full appearance of the Canadian super team. Still up for debate, I suppose.
You mean whether or not they're super?
Yes.
It's on par with the 180, 181 debate for Wolverine. It's like,
but
it's
the prices are flipped.
It's right up there with the great comic debates in fandom. Which one is Alpha Flight's true first appearance?
Yeah,
but it's funny that it's just opposite because the cameo is the big price book.
Right.
Like the price jump between 9.6 and 9.8 on that last book was batshit crazy.
It's also a black cover though.
It is.
I also just threw for other facts the whole John Byrne cameo, but yeah, so a 9.8 right now. According to Go Collect, on average is about $1,300, and then it drops down from on a 9.6 goes for $400. So a little more than 3 times its price.
Yeah. But not like the whatever it was 5 to 7 times what the last one was. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it wasn't like $3,000 or something.
It
like
was,
that,
it was bonkers.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
And then 9.8s, there's a good amount, 363 9.8s out there, followed by 614 9.6s and 523 9.4s. So yeah, there's some of the numbers for you. I forget what Chet said he had, or if he had it signed. He mentioned it in the beginning. I forgot to highlight it, but Chet has almost every one of these Byrne and Cockrum books CGC'd and signed by Stanley.
Wow.
Almost all of them. So he always puts in the chat.
He had 9.6 Stan and Chris signature.
Stan and Chris, yeah. It gets awkward sometimes because he shows like a blue label every once in a while, and it's, we make fun of him for it. But yeah.
I might as well just throw out the whole collection in that case.
Yeah, exactly. So he says 9.6. Cool, very cool. So I think that kind of wraps it up, and that's the issue there. Any final thoughts here? I think we covered pretty much everything.
I mean, I think it's a fun way to introduce a team. It's in the sense of like getting to see all their powers. I just feel like it's not very compelling, and that's the part that kind of drags for me. And then the leadership side, you want the audience to feel like, wow, that Vindicator is pretty tough. He's pretty cool, but he just seems such a numbskull. Like he feels so like, oh, I guess the Prime Minister told me how to do this. I don't know. Gosh, guys. He seems put upon, and it's really not a flattering color for him.
Right. Hey, what's going on, Jennifer? In the house. Alec, any final thoughts here?
Yeah, comics used to be fun, man. What happened?
we had Canadians to battle. Now we don't anymore.
Yeah. Like that classic feud of the 70s and 80s, U.S. versus Canada. It was the coldest of Cold Wars.
I want more books with consistent inconsistencies. I think that's my style. All right, folks. Well, that'll wrap up 121. We do have some questions though, so stick around. We can get into them now. Now we're crossing a little over the hour mark here, but appreciate everybody hanging out with us, and of course, Alec, thank you for being here with us. For sure. So John, you want to start your first question off here?
Absolutely. So these are questions about last week's show and last week's episode. So if you are watching each week, tune into the next show and you can answer those questions and get onto our overall scoreboard, get some raffle tickets, entries into the Omnibus giveaway. So my first question is, before leaving Japan, Wolverine gives a gift to his new romantic love, Mariko. What is that gift? What gift does Wolverine give to his new love interest?
Mariko.
I was impressed. Alec knew it. I don't know if I can't spell it, but I would give you points for being able to spell it, even though I didn't see you spell it.
I spelt it with my mouth.
Yes. Oh,
by pronouncing it.
So I'm gonna go. I'll go. How strict do we want to be? I feel like just going Lasso and Chet because it's not wrong.
Yeah.
So
I think that's fair.
Lasso gets the 2.
TJ.
What does he say? Sorry. Oh, jeez. Yikes. And Chet gets the 1 point. And then, TJ, you get the comedy point. I forgot to mention, we give points for whoever makes us laugh and or cringe appropriately. So there you go, TJ. Yeah, yikes. But it was a white chrysanthemum. Yes.
White chrysanthemum.
Did we spell check that? Who had it correct in spelling? I think that's where we have
bonus spelling point.
Yeah. All right. So my first question for everybody here is, what football position did Dr. Walter Langkowski, aka Sasquatch, play back in college? He was a former All-Pro something.
Which brings our whole Steelers comedy thing back into play, right?
Yeah. Now,
clearly, it's a passion for him.
What is the football position that Sasquatch played back in college? Former All-Pro blank.
Ooh, do abbreviations count?
Oh yeah, that's
I don't know. You decide. You're in charge of this one. I'm not claiming. I already made people upset with my last one.
Yeah, what the heck, John? I feel like tonight we have some really good decisions here to make here. I don't like this.
He just says curling.
I was looking for the word, so I'm gonna stick with the word. I wrote that in my notes, so I'm gonna go with missing link here as
missing link. I think that's his first time missing link. Let's see here.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
Missing link, and then
gets a raffle ticket to win and 2 points on the overall scoreboard. Followed by,
I think I see Magic Lasso as the next one. Is that what you guys?
I do see Lasso as the next one. You're right.
And then we get
let's see how angry Chet is. He's saying boo.
He said curling.
Yes, I gave him the comedy point.
Really?
Oh,
I would pick Kachung's left square back.
Water boy is
funny to me.
Left square back.
Oh, where I missed the.
It's right above the one you're on right now.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll go Kachung.
There you go. The missing link.
So I do like Water Boy and Mascot a lot from Eric.
An all-pro mascot.
Sorry. My question is next. I'm asking which X-Men character is the first one to get captured by Alpha Flight? Which character? Obviously, they're here for a certain goal, but apparently they've been struggling with that goal. Who is the first X-Men character to get captured? Tuba player in the marching band. Also fair.
Yeah, see, Chet, this is why I can't accept just like the letters, because someone could just write a letter for this answer and that just wouldn't cut it.
I got Jackson Roy Kirk and Magic Lasso. So Jackson Roy Kirk gets the 2 points and the raffle ticket. Lasso gets a bonus point. I'm feeling like Lasso very soon is going to be in triple digits on the overall scorecard. He is going to be tough to catch.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to get issues in here since he was a recent guest.
Nope. He's now trailing pretty solid. He's in 4th place.
Oof. He was in the last chat. I thought he'd carry over.
Gotta watch for him.
All right, last question of the night, and it's a good one. There are quotations for this one. What was the name of the social club that Wolverine mentioned that as he was walking around town towards the end of last issue, right before Sasquatch knocks him out?
For me personally, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to hear some hilarity answers. I'm just going to say.
There's some social club names. What was that social club?
Right.
Yeah, no, it's a good opportunity for sure.
We should avoid doing this too much. It'll make Andy think of rabbits.
I went back and watched that.
The blue oyster.
I was dying. You guys are hilarious. That whole I watched like a good 30 minutes, and I was like,
nobody knows the answer to this one. I love it.
Wow, no one's
there. It is. Somebody dug out the issue and read it. Oh, that one might have. It's worthy that's the one that gets him to triple digits. Actually, boom.
The drunk Canuck.
The drunk Canuck. Wow, these are really good. U of M.
A little hint of strategy, guys. If you want to copy and paste,
because somebody got it right as of right now. Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, you could argue it's a social club. Nobody's gonna copy and paste, but Crackle and Rosa, there it is.
There we go. So Chet
gets the solo point, and which one do you think is funniest, guys? I'm feeling drunk Canuck, but that's
I like Roy Kirk.
Okay.
His answer. Oh, that is tough though. I forgot AA is there too. Yeah, that is tough. All right, so Lasso got that one. All right, cool.
No, don't copy me. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys. So that will wrap it up. I want to remind everybody that next show will be back over on John's channel. So make sure if you're not already subbed up, which I'm positive all of you are already, but anyone watching the replay who might not know John, make sure you sub him up. And of course, White Whale as well. Make sure you follow him on the platforms that I put down there for you. And if you want this cool shirt, reach out to him. 9-4 near mint. I know it's a 110. I don't know if you wanted to run across some of the things you had going on real quick, John, or if you guys had to hop off. I understand.
Well, tomorrow night we have a very special book club. We're doing a new format for book club where we're not doing it as a weekly show. We're doing it as a monthly recap show. So it's going to be our month look back at March. White Whale Comics and I are going to highlight the noteworthy books from March that we've read and do some breakdowns on some of those books. So that is very exciting. And I believe you are hosting that.
That's what I've been told by you.
Yay!
Yeah, it mostly born out of necessity because I don't know if anyone else has seen this problem, but my shop is consistently not getting books on time anymore. Mm-hmm. So to do a show Wednesday night about books that were supposed to come out that day just has not become feasible because I can't get my hands on the books.
Yeah.
Frustratingly.
Yeah. That was a very sad show that you guys had. I was very sad when you announced that, but I understand. I totally makes sense.
I mean, hopefully, if things get back in order, we can revisit it. But at the moment, do what we gotta do.
But those book club fans can rejoice in the knowledge that tomorrow night, at least, you'll get a full.
We have
book
fans.
Club. There might be one of them in the chat, and TJ's here, right?
Yeah,
he likes that show.
Well, more than the other Wednesday show.
So fan. And then I've got the second episode of my edited video series, Comic Community News, coming on Thursday. I just finished editing that. Kate was helping me edit today, learning editing software. So my little sweatshop is
I was going to say, so you're training her so that you can push up editing to her and just shooting bits.
Yes. I'm going to be the talent.
This is why I need to have kids.
The executive producer.
If I was wise, I'd put her face on camera and not mine, but that's not where I'm at right
now. John, just so you know, I'm going to make a video for that because you didn't ask me for a video at all, but I have a really funny idea, and I'm just going to throw it your way, and you can feel free to not use it at all. Or use
Absolutely hilarious. Nice.
For future ones.
Hey, our roving reporters are many, and they're scattered across the comic community, so you just never know who you're going to see each week guesting.
Alec, what do you got going on this week?
Besides book club tomorrow, I got a whole lot of nothing.
Okay. All right.
We are trying to get D&D back up and running again, but it might not be on Alec's channel because he just did an epic hosting of all the last year of D&D.
I was going to say, which I didn't realize was almost legitimately a year until we finished, and I looked back and I was like, "Oh my god, that was a full year."
Yeah.
If I've been thinking about it, and if I feel like if I host again, I'd like to try to do something a little more intentional. So it would take a little while for me to put that together.
Okay. Nice. I see Kachung saying, John, do you have...
No, we've got the stock market as it relates to comics. We've got the look ahead, but you're just making jokes. I don't know why I'm answering.
Lasso says, if Justin calls you and wants to talk about Batman, don't say I didn't warn you. Yes.
I just don't answer. I just don't answer.
Have you, I have to ask, have you guys seen the video I put up recently? Just this morning.
Unboxing you did? Was it an unboxing? No,
it's called How a Comic Book Show is Born. Is the name of it. It's a skit.
Didn't watch it. Why didn't I watch it?
There are cameos involved, so there are going to be some people in there that you both know pretty well. And
I'll get right to it.
I think it's worth your time to watch the
awesome
7 minutes that is there.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out tomorrow.
Other than that, I have Comic Collector Origins is my main highlight for Saturday. I'll have Downright Nerdy Podcast on with me as my guest. So learning a little bit more about him and his background, and then of course, we do our tag team Thursday, as John mentioned. So always looking forward to hanging out with the crew. And I think Brandon's going to do a video with us, even though he'll.
And Rod just jumped in the chat. That's the guy you want to follow for the kickoff every Thursday at 6:30 Eastern.
Perfect timing, Rod. Perfect timing. All right. Well, very cool. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll wrap that up. We're a little over an hour. So I appreciate your time and everybody hanging out here as always. Make sure we catch you guys next week over on John's channel. Sub up White Whale Comics if you haven't already. And we will talk to you later. Peace.